Mad Monster Party Day 3, the floor opened up at 11 a.m. The film room didn't open till 12, so that gave us an hour to swing by Neve Campbell's table, get her to tag this copy of Fangoria. From there, we headed over to the film room to catch Britain's Big Cat Mystery by Matthew Everett. This was the one documentary at Mad Monster. It was kind of like a National Geographic mystery documentary about large cat population in the UK, specifically the Exmoor area of England. Apparently exotic pets used to be a big thing in England, and then there were some regulations that prevented this in 1976, and then there wasn't anything to stop people from releasing their crazy exotic animals into the wild until the early 80s. So basically everybody that had these animals that didn't want to face these regulations and get in trouble for these crazy big cats just released them into the wild. So there's lots of eyewitnesses and people that kind of hunting them. It's almost like people hunting Sasquatch kind of. It kind of reminded me of local stories about the Shenandoah Park Rangers saying that there aren't any mountain lions in the Shenandoah National Park, even though there are the number of eyewitnesses. I just kind of suspect they just don't want to make a statement saying there are big cats out there and have all the families that camp at Big Meadows not come out anymore. But it was a really interesting film. I never heard anything about that story before of wildcat mysteries in England, so it was a cool way to start off Sunday. The next film we saw was The Last Frankenstein by David Weaver. This was a contemporary Frankenstein story from the lineage of Dr. Victor Frankenstein. In this iteration, he's a middle-aged med student who feels like he's not accomplishing his life's objectives and is out to make a legacy for himself at all costs, which means he's willing to do some grimy things to make his dreams come true. If you're a fan of a good mad scientist story, this one's for you. From there, we went into a block of Halloween-related short films. The first film we saw in that block was Candlesmoke by Jared Campbell. This was like a Western revenge ghost story, really good production design. It was a fun film. Jared and like a dozen of his folks were in attendance, so we had a good Q&A afterwards, during which they talked about being in production for shooting their feature film, so best of luck to those guys on that. The next film was That Halloween by Mike Hickey. This one is about children recounting an urban legend that happens on Halloween. It kind of turns into a ghost story. Really good production design, really well written. This was a great film. Check it out. Up next, we had The Hunt for Craggy Mall by Jacob Seanger. This was a comedic werewolf adventure film, kind of bordered on LARPing. It was really funny. Audience really got a crack out of it. The last film of the film festival was Hold Your Breath by Cameron Gates. This was a really solid closer. Great choreography, good action sequences, good cinematography, lots of underwater cinematography, just really well executed. The whole weekend was a blast. Cheers to Jamie McRoberts for curating such a good show, and until next year.